Hey guys, what's going on? Drew Danger back here on the scene. We are Knights of the Dragon. We're ready to represent. We got a special guest. We got a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about and a crazy amount of time. And we're going to pull it off. So, guys, let's get started. I'm Drew Danger. As you know, we've got Lady Laura representing. We got Rican Ranger. You guys know him. Ready to represent. And we've got the man himself. Unworthy Productions, here live, Jourdan representing. We're so excited. We're glad to have him here. So let's get started. You know what time it is. And I know you guys want to see the morph, but we got to do a little different. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go, U is for Unworthy. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
because they're here today. So let's do it, guys. I'm going to pass it over to our guy Jourdan, and I'm going to say thank you for coming to the show. I'm super excited like this. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to ask you that Lady Laura was kind of asking about is, who is Jourdan?
That's a deep question. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a crazy weekend. I just got off of coming from KoD Ranger Station in Philly, so I'm a little out of it because I'm still trying to recuperate from the panel and the booth and all the shenanigans.
Oh shoot, that was today. Okay,
it was yesterday.
Okay,
I literally just finished my rounds of dropping people off, like my girlfriend and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I have
to. Oh man.
But yeah, who am I? I mean, I guess the fastest way to describe me is I'm just a geek first and foremost. Like I've been a Power Ranger fan since '93, so since I was like 5 years old, about 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I am a podcaster, filmmaker, editor, cosplayer. I don't know. I wear a lot of hats, but who am I? I'm Batman. No.
Wait, all of the above. I tell you, I have to kill you.
Yeah. We can get down with that.
We get it. You know.
Well, are you a only child? Do you have siblings?
Oh, deep Jourdan lore. Yeah, I was an only child.
Okay.
Well, that's not true. What am I saying? I was an only child because when I was born to my mother and father, but they separated. So I was raised by what I meant to say was I was raised by a single mother. Then my mother got a new husband, and then so I have a half sister. But then we're years apart, so like we got a huge generation gap. But yeah, so I was a single child for 8 years of my life, and then I've had a half sister ever since then.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Do you guys get along?
Oh yeah. I actually don't even consider her my half sister. Like we were together, so I never really conceptualized it until I got older. Like, oh yeah, I guess technically you are my half sister. But my dad, I'm half Puerto Rican, half black. Puerto Rican on my father's side. My father went out to get milk. I haven't seen him like 15, 20 years. So
oh shoot, you got that story, man. I'm sorry about that. I've known people that has happened.
Yeah.
Dad goes out for cigarettes or milk or bread.
I grew up all the time, bro.
Driving.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 100% Rican, so you got a whole brother in me, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down, Boricua soy. You know, I'm New Yorican all day long. That's what everybody kind of loves about me. This whole Rican Ranger thing kind of happened on Henry's when I first popped on. Just to give you a little bit of my backstory, not only am I a fan of Unworthy, but a fan of Power Rangers in general since around the same time. I turned 39 tomorrow, so I was there from the beginning. You know, yeah, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
JDF was that dude.
Cool.
You know, like I said, I met him twice at a time in my life that I was going through a lot. So it was almost like he grabbed me by the shirt, lifted me out the mud. You know, at the time I met him, I was falling out of a bad relationship, relocating, and I just happened to meet him a couple times on the Power Ranger Protection Tour. So everything came full circle from being on Henry's to having him, you know, watching him cover the self-deletion and everything and the whole journey and meeting these guys. It's just crazy. So I guess my question for you is, what made you want to take a stand? What made you want to put your flag down in the sand with Power Rangers and was like, you know what, this is needed. I'm going to make this content. I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to, create what everybody sees. The millions of views that you have, a testament to your journey and what you've done. Like what was the spark that caused all that? That's what my main curiosity with you from a production standpoint. What I
Well,
salute most,
yeah, 100%. What I'm learning is, I guess, when I make moves, their perception of those moves are far more grandiose than the reality of what I'm thinking might
Right.
actually be. So for me, I'm not like thinking about like playing a flag or they need Unworthy for Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
yeah.
Like when I came up with Unworthy, it was before 2017 movie. But around the time they announced Draken and Shattered Clear.
Okay.
Because it originally started with I was just in a group of friends that were cosplayers, and I wanted to make it. We wanted to make it like a short film, and I have just always been a fan of Power Rangers. And I was just like, okay, it's a group of us. What is not a better time if it's a group of people that want to do something together? Why not? It's a team. It's a team-based thing. Let's do that.
Right.
And it just started with the idea of like I was coming off of like the inspirations like CW and the Avengers and
Right.
Flash, the Arrowverse, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And I was
exactly.
like, I loved their way of having emotional conversations, but then also have like action kind of happening around it. I wanted to inject that energy, which I felt like was just an updated version of what they were trying to do in Mighty Morphin, into our own series. And then it started with the idea of a villain being kind of like a Black Flash or a Saboteur or a Zoom that would be hunting Rangers.
Yeah.
And then everything else kind of spun out of that. So but it didn't even start with like, who is that guy? What is his story? Like, it wasn't really deep when the idea was conception, you know?
Right.
And everything kind of spun out of that.
And this is the Arbiter you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's the Arbiter. And originally, it wasn't even named the Arbiter. It was just like the Ranger Terminator, the first Ranger. And
Yeah.
Work backwards. Like, what would he call himself? Like, oh, the Arbiter. And then from there, why did he call himself the Arbiter? And then they still kind of pushes stuff out. But I wasn't really thinking about like the fan because at that time the fandom wasn't dead yet. It was just in my eyes stagnating because it wasn't. Aside from the 2017 movie and the comics, the actual TV series never really matured with its audience. Like at that time, it was either Samurai, Super Samurai. It was like one of those where just like, it's Mighty Morphin again, but
Right.
So
well, let me pause you real quick, right? Where were you at when the bootleg universe came out?
Where was I at?
Yeah, where did you think? Because I know JDF was alive. He said it
was
hard. It was a little too extra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where were you at? What was your opinion? Because I think Ninjetti, aesthetically, I wanted to look dark like that. But I wanted to push the brink of PG-13, like JDF said. Don't go completely rated R, but give them enough violence and, you know what I mean? Enough that you're right at that edge, you know?
Yeah, I think that's why he liked Unworthy, because we do push the envelope of PG-13. I try not to go too bloody, too gory, too not what's the word? Too over the top. I try not to go over the top.
Right.
But my thoughts of the bootleg universe at the time was I liked it, but it also wasn't Power Rangers to me. But if you know Adi Shankar and what he like envisioned for the film itself, he wasn't really trying to make it like a true homage to Power Rangers. He was almost making a paper. Where it was like that the idea of like you can make anything dark and gray. It doesn't matter what. It could be SpongeBob.
Right.
SpongeBob is killing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the Winnie the Pooh thing they did.
Yeah.
Yes.
That joke, it shows you with the evolution of Hollywood. Like that joke.
Yeah.
Weird, you know?
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Doing that in Hollywood movies. Winnie the Pooh kills, bloody, murder. Like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but I kind of had the same feelings that JDF did. Where it was like, I like this. It's cool that people like this because there's always going to be an audience for that really hard edge kind of gritty take on things.
Right.
But it didn't have the spirit of Power Rangers, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I was really trying, and that's why I was even emboldened to make Unworthy, because even though things like the bootleg universe existed at the time, to me it didn't capture that original spirit of Power Rangers that I was looking for in things.
Right.
So that's what I tried to do with Unworthy episode 1, was kind of like bridge both. So it's like it's
Right.
violent, there's death, there's stakes, but it won't go overboard with like strippers and cocaine and
right. Now I have to ask, bro, what made you make the Green Ranger green? I mean, a girl.
I like the question first.
Girl. I'm sorry.
Why was the Green Ranger green?
Yeah,
well, green.
I was like, oh man. And when it was a girl, I'm like, I'm so curious why he did that, you know, because the Green Ranger is so iconic. JDF is so iconic. That's a big change. You know what I mean? Did you think it would cause controversy? Where was your heart at in that moment when you made that switch?
There's a lot of different answers to that question. Some are just logistical, where it was the people that were around me. Like, we were looking for an amazing martial artist. And this is what I feel like Hollywood should do, and I don't feel like they actually do. The idea that you're looking for the best person for the job.
Right.
A lot of times I feel like they say that in Hollywood, but they really have a checkbox in mind. Like, no, we're going into this knowing we want a female Green Ranger, for example, and then you work backwards from there. But I was genuinely working from the place of, I want a dope martial artist that we know. And at the time, the best person that wasn't already in the series was Angela Jourdan, who was friends with one of the other actors on the series. So we brought her in because her kicks were amazing, her martial arts skills were dope, and she had like the crisp Tommy movements I was looking for a character. Yeah. And coincidentally, our Pink Ranger actress was a lesbian. So rather than be like, yeah, you're a lesbian in real life, but I'm gonna make you play a straight woman just for the sake of, I need a male Tommy. It's like, well, if we have so it worked out where if the best artist that we know that we can use for Tommy is a female, and our Pink Ranger is actually a lesbian, and she actually wants to kind of make that part of her character, then kind of align where it's like, okay, well, then it just makes sense. And I wasn't thinking about potential controversy, even though now with hindsight, lots of controversy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. From a fan standpoint.
Yeah, and it happened that, ironically, we did that before the trend of gender bending characters became very prevalent in Hollywood. So with the eyes of a 2024 viewer, that looks like just every other gender bend for the sake of gender bend. But when we did it, that wasn't the point of it. And I mean, and the other part of it is, because JDF is so iconic, me personally, I actually wanted to do something different from him. Be our own thing and not be compared to JDF.
Gotcha.
And I also knew where the story was going, knowing that it really wouldn't matter after one episode because he's only there to be like, don't you love the Green Ranger? Yeah, I love the Green Ranger, and dead.
Yeah, I noticed that. That. Definitely. Anything you want to do, Drew, jump in anytime, bro. You know,
I'm letting you get your time in because I know you've been waiting for this a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going then. The Arbiter I noticed was ancient. That's why I'm saying I'm definitely into some Spider-Verse, into the Spider-Verse type vibes with the Rangerverse. You know what I'm saying? In between, even having some 2017 actors come back, like Unworthy's its own universe, you know, the 2017's its own universe. You can kind of almost do like the end of the Flash movie where they had all the projected possible timelines come together at the end.
That may or may not be happening in episode 5.
It's great, you know, it's great. So it's like you're kind of the man in that department. So that's why I'm excited. Anything you can share with what you got going on. Like I said, I think the way to reset and go is complete hard reset, master reboot is go into. So I love that about the Arbiter. That's my favorite character about your series. I like watching him go through, and he's the first Ranger. That whole Terminator Ranger thing is great. I'd love to help work on his suit and, you know, some redesign. Did you see the White Dragon redesign that I did? I have to send it to you.
The AI art?
Yeah, for his birthday, JDF's birthday. Like if he was still alive.
Yes, but I can't say for sure. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. But anything you need for the Arbiter, I'd love to do something for that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
I
go ahead.
have a few questions, if I may, Rican.
Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, uh, so in specifically, like, if you make something long, like the cycle minutes with like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
how long, like, how long does that take? Like that from start to finish, how long did cycle minutes take? And what goes into like, oh my gosh, I have so many questions. So everything you did on a ship, like where did you film that? Where was like was that CGI? Was that so take me through the process of when you started Psycho Menace and how that whole process happened. I'm so interested in behind the scenes. A little bit about me. When I was in college, before I started my child development, I had been in stage management. So I done uh, um, I was assistant stage manager, and I was set production for the stage shows. And so I'm really interested in I love behind the scenes, so I'm so interested in like how this all works and like what software you use for editing and what CGI software you used and how many people in the cast and the stunt people, like how many altogether. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Psycho Minutes was probably our longest production. I would say from start to finish was like a year and a half.
Wow. Okay.
That was
But
a good one.
that like, what does that really mean? A year and a half? Like it depends on logistically when we can get people together, what scenes we need to film and when and how. If it's like an outdoor thing, if we have to wait until it gets warmer. So it's like we were filming in like 1 or 2 day blocks over the course of a year and a half. And even like sometimes like at one point the last thing we filmed was like pickup shots where it's like you watch the whole thing and go, okay, this is good, but it needs something in the beginning. We got to get people together to do, and that's when we did the intro section with the Red Ranger fighting.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to the days, I would say maybe it was like a 9 to 10 day shoot total.
Okay.
Spread over a course of a year and a half, and then but then it's the post production that takes so long, where like VFX and sound and music takes less time. I would say maybe like a month total for those two. But the VFX, especially for Psycho Menace, it took so long because a lot of those shots where they were in the ship bridge with the screens and stuff, all of that is those screens are like blank green, just green when we're filming on the day, and all that stuff had to be post by our VFX artist Crystal or Beautiful Diz. And when I tell you she's a workhorse, she'll work like literally when she gets home from work till like 3 a.m, day in and day out, and that's over the course of months. Like the way I can compare it, like to try and make it make sense to someone who doesn't do it, is when you watch like Deadpool and Wolverine, for example. Just watch how long the section just for VFX is for a movie like that, and it is like me and Chris were watching that today, in the theater, and we timed it. It was like 60 seconds of just VFX trolling of names, like at least like 300 plus people. Meanwhile, one name. Beautiful Diz. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe actually for a second, 3D modelers, but it just shows you how heavy of a task the VFX side of things are, and when what we do, action sci-fi, like it's kind of required to give it that like especially in space, like it's got to have a sci-fi feel to it. And in terms of the locations for that, people thought we built the sets for Psycho Menace. No, there's no way. It was too expansive for that. I do a lot of like location scouting. How I decide if a project is possible first, find the locations that kind of like visualize that's going to happen in. And for Psycho Menace, I knew we needed ships. We needed and places that had enough space that looked like spaceships. Stunts. And it looks when I watch Psycho Menace now, where all the fights take place in, it looks on screen way more expansive than it actually is in real life. In real life, those corridors are tight. So we're doing a lot of big movements in those tight spaces to make it look big and filming on wide angles and with wide lenses to make it look bigger than it actually is. And all the fighting stuff for the most part took place at a laser tag spot in Philly that I found.
Oh,
okay. I was just about to ask, where did you like? Where was each location? Like,
yeah.
Basically,
all the fighting stuff was on that location, the laser tag spot. Because there was enough room there, and it was big enough that we were moving through and a lot of times we were using the same actual like spots, locations, but just filmed with different lighting and from a different angle to make it look. And then all of the bridge stuff, like the hallway with Psycho Red and Psycho Gold, the deck that Psycho Empress and Psycho Rangers invaded with the Megaforce people, the hollow deck that Gosei was in, that's all an escape room in, I want to say New York. I think it's New York. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a space themed escape room.
Cool.
So a lot of East Coast shooting, pretty much.
All East Coast.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all East Coast.
Love that, bro. Representing heavy. I love that.
Oh yeah. That's why people assume that we're in Cali, but like no.
Nah, you're one of us. I think people need to know that. That needs to be championed. I feel like that's harder to shoot on this side.
We don't have like they actually have places built.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm from the East Coast, so I know it's got to be difficult to get the right locations where we at, bro. Especially where you are.
We got to be creative. We got
to bro, kudos to you, man. Now I know what you really go through. That's what I'm saying. Like from a design standpoint, it pretty much like, you know, your will, my hands, whatever you need. Because that's what I do. Kind of the drip and the swag of the Ninjetti is kind of what I've been forming for the past 6 months. You know, how the Zords interact, how they come together, the powers. So, you know, I'm kind of sitting back and waiting because I'm in the comic book phase. I'm in a very early phase of everything. So I know you got the keys right now. So where you take it is kind of, you know, and like I said, who gets involved? If we get Johnny, we get Amy, we get you, we get anyone else. It's all developing, but I want to go ancient. I think ancient, it's Mighty Morphin, Ancient Rangers. Shadow Storm is like the animation underneath. You know, I got the Angel Grove, Stone Canyon thing. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see what you're gonna drop, what's coming out, where we're going.
Yeah,
talk about the franchise a little bit too, bro. Like your opinion, because I know you're out here in the scene, you're doing the Comic-Cons, you have your production company, you got your own basic universe of Rangers. You know what I mean? So from that balcony that, you know, that you're looking not down on, but, you know, you're basically there amongst what's going on. Where are we going? What do you see? Projections, you know, what can you give us as far as like the future? Henry likes to call you the future of Power Rangers. So,
well,
you know what I'm saying? What does that mean to you when I say that, basically?
I mean, I find that really flattering that everyone says about us, and I respect the hell out of them for it. I love them. I wish I felt like that was true. I wish I actually really felt like someone would come down from on high from Hasbro and be like, "These guys are killing it on the online sphere, and we're going to hand you the Power Rangers. There you go, young man. Run with the wind." Like,
like I'm saying, the Bruce Almighty, bro. I'm making you Bruce Almighty of Power Rangers.
That'd be like the dream scenario if that were to happen. But I just don't, because I've seen people like JDF. He's JDF. He is the face of Power Rangers, and he couldn't move those mountains. So I don't really sit around expecting someone to give me those rights. I try and keep my vision, I would say, small. Other people would probably say it's big given what we've done, but I consider it to be small in that right now I'm just trying to focus on the thing in front of me. So I've got those.
I like that.
I've got the next Unworthy productions in line with, like I said, Green with Evil, Short, the Last Ninjetti, Death Ranger, Episode 5, and there might be one or maybe two other Unworthy projects after that. But then after that, I'll keep going as long as the fans want us to. And we're going to be doing like a Kickstarter for Episode 5 to try and ironically kickstart the production to finish it. We only have like would say half to 2/3 left of filming that. And if we have funding, we can just pay people to be there for filming on the set. Because a lot of our people are like actual day players and stunt people that have they have their own careers and their jobs. So to pull them from what they're doing, we've gone on the strength of when you're available, and that's why Unworthy also takes so long, because we're working their schedules. But if you have money and you have funding, then you can actually like set the schedule, because they'd be more willing to like, oh, I'm getting paid to be there, so I'll be there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's what I have kind of like in mind next for Unworthy. I also want to do some original things after episode 5 before we wrap up completely the Unworthy saga.
Nice.
But when we do, it'll still be in the vein of like tokusatsu, like Guyver inspired Kamen Rider.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay true to the love, like especially for like original projects. I want to stay in the tokusatsu realm because it's I think where we have our audience right now, but also it's because it's something I'm very passionate about. But yeah, so I'm keeping it close to chest when it comes to Unworthy, which is I just want, because so many, even the fan films that inspired Unworthy, so many of them, the fan series I would say, don't finish. And I don't want that to be Unworthy, so I really want to like buckle down, and we're at the finish line. Like if Unworthy, everything we've done so far was all on the timeline, we're about like I would say 4/5 of the way done. There's only really the climax left of the main series. So I just want to put all my focus into those projects first, get those out the way, then do something original, and then move back to Power Rangers to wrap everything up. And if fans want more and they're willing to pay for more, then I'd be more than willing to do it. Like I look at Aaron as kind of like the template, where the reason,
and that's why we were kind of reaching out to maybe get a Marvel team up with everybody.
You even look at, I mean, he had 500,000 in Kickstarter plus more from outside investors, where I've seen him estimate that in the at least multi-million.
Yeah, a couple million.
But yeah, at least a couple million. And it still takes 4 years to do one feature. Like, so that's also part of it. We have to kind of plot your course as a filmmaker, because it takes so long and you put so much of yourself into whatever project you're doing. So I look at Aaron as like kind of the example of like where to go when it comes to crowdfunding, but even that shows you, even with crowdfunding, it's still an uphill endeavor when it comes to production. Even just timing. And to answer the other question about the franchise itself, Power Rangers, and where I expect that to go. After the Netflix stuff fell through, I see people talking about it's still being shopped around, but if Amazon and Netflix don't want it, and it's not going back to TV, I don't see where it can go as of right now.
It's just comics and video games now.
Just comics and video games. Even the comics is like the Power Rangers Prime thing. Like they'll never say it, because they'll never be like the comics are failing. But the real reason why the comics even are being rebooted and it's the Mighty Morphin line was ending is because it's been losing steam since Shattered Grid. I stopped reading the comics. I'm a huge Power Ranger fan, and even I stopped reading the comics regularly after Shattered Grid ended. Just because it went in different directions I wasn't really a fan of, and
it's like the Infinity Saga. Where do you go after your climax like that?
Yeah, kinda. But I'd argue that Phase 4 of even the MCU could have been amazing if it was put in the right hands. And I think just like with Phase 4, Power Rangers after Shattered Grid with the new writers, they didn't have the same sensibilities that the people that got them to that level. I just saw the writing quality kind of fall off after Shattered Grid. And now it's over, and now they're rebooting it with Power Rangers Prime or whatever, and maybe that'll be more successful. But the sad reality is, and I've seen this echoed so many times, that Mighty Morphin is kind of but for better or worse, it's the be-all, end-all. It is the biggest money maker for Power Rangers, because that's when it was at its peak. That's when Power Rangers was as big as the MCU is now. Was Mighty Morphin. So if they do bring Power Rangers back anyway in live action, it's going to have to be, I think, a Mighty Morphin reboot to some extent. And I don't think, if it's done well, I know there's a lot of Mighty Morphin detractors now, but I think it's just because we've seen Mighty Morphin fumbled so many times. But if it's done well, I think we'll see So
Well, I love to do a type of anime. I don't know how you feel about the animated thing. I think the future can be saved through animation. Proof of concept.
maybe.
Are you familiar with Dom Estefan? Have you seen any of his stuff on YouTube?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the guy who does
Teenagers with Attitude, and he's got one something of the Grid, Battle of the Grid, or something like that. But Dom Estefan is his name. When you get a chance, he's a good animator. Me and him had some words, but I still promote him because his work
intro,
is
right?
amazing.
He did the animated Mighty Morphin intro, kind of.
Yeah. And I have another guy, a CGI guy, who has some morphing sequences or Zord sequences that are amazing. That I really think some animated stuff can get pulled off. And just the way that my comic is coming together, I think it's going to go from comic book to animation series, and then maybe from animation kind of like, into where you're at now, kind of like the Mortal Kombat Legacy series started on YouTube. When it had Michael J. White and all that. Like, I feel like you can have a whole YouTube Power Ranger universe. You know what I mean? You're going to have spin-offs, like you said, the Arrowverse. That's cool to me. I feel like that's really the future where we're going to be at right now, is trying to make the illest fan stuff we can to see what happens with the brand. Because if guys like you and creators and stuff at that level don't keep it alive creating things, then it's really going to die.
Yeah, and that's why I try and collaborate with other people that have their own fan films wherever I can, just because I like the camaraderie of Power Rangers and linking universes together. That's why the multiverse is a cool concept, because you can do that without messing up the story. Yeah.
Speaking of, too, Drew had the idea, possibly, maybe if we can't work together with Power Rangers, or if that does work out, we're thinking about doing some VR Trooper stuff, too.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
Start doing some AI, with VR, and see what we can do. And if I can get my armors to look just as good as they do with the Ninjetti stuff for VR, and I think me and Drew are going to tackle that, too. So we can do like the Saban universe on YouTube, bro, and have a bunch of intertwining little things and really kill the game from behind the scenes. So it's really how deep in the rabbit hole you want to go, bro.
What's funny about VR Troopers? I feel like in some ways it could work better now than it
Nanotech Commandos, you know what I mean? We could do some twisting around with some of the lore. I mean, they had the double-sided lightsaber before Maul did. I was just telling you, I'm like, damn,
they sure did.
Sleeping on VR, and Tron Legacy, throw a little Tron Legacy in there with light cycles, light blades. But like I said, my Rangers have a medal, right? The cosmic energy from the grid. Rican can take his staff off and he heats it. And he super heats it and super cools it, so the weapons themselves morph. He can take his staff, add cosmic energy, and he has a screamer stick. Or he'll take a screamer stick, add the lightning, and then the metal. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like liquid metal from T2.
Yeah.
But put it in the concept of weapons. So now the ancient Rangers use the power of the ancient amulet. They can, and they have elemental powers as well. Now we're talking, So now you got a little bit of Avatar, a little bit of Wachowski Brothers, Ninja Assassin. That was a cool little movie. So I'm a movie buff. I'm trying to put it all together from a ninja standpoint. A little bit of Shadow Storm, morphin sequence. They take out the amulet, put in the watch, then they kick out a cyclone. You know what I'm saying? Little homage to Beast Morphers, Shadow Storm, stuff like that. Ancient Temple. So like, I'm ready to go all in on Ninjetti, bro, and I got stuff that's gold that I know you're definitely worthy of. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you need, bro, I'm serious. Like, on my mark on Ninjetti, it's like we're going hard with it. We really are. So I salute. I can't wait for the Ninjetti project to kind of see where you're going and what you're doing.
No, absolutely. And Jourdan, the thing is, did you ever watch Daria? Yeah.
I don't want my brain. I'm like half here.
Yeah, no, you're okay. Did you ever watch Daria?
Yeah, I used to watch Daria.
Remember their teacher that would talk to him with a little soft voice?
Yeah.
All the time in class. So I'm going to use that voice and just ask you, so how can we help you?
I mean, just being the people you are now, just good people that are fans of Power Rangers, that recognize that we're also fans that are just trying our best to make something, and just share whatever that we're working on when it comes to, especially when we do like the Kickstarter and GoFundMe stuff. Like, I'm really gonna try and push that because we've tried Kickstarter before back with episode 2. It didn't really go that well. I'm hoping now that we have a bigger following that people will be more willing. But I mean, we talked about before, Drew. It's the Power Rangers community when it comes to fans, they don't really they've been scarred from bad Kickstarters in the past. Like they don't go anywhere. They take money and money. So hopefully though we've kind of earned the trust at this point. But never know.
I think so.
Because we wanna if we could. The plan is, if it's possible, we want to get Bat in the Sun, you guys, Unworthy, and me and Rican together and do projects and work and write and come up with ideas. I'm a senior citizen now. Yes, Laura too. Laura's in. I wasn't sure if you were in. I'm a senior citizen now. I can't do stunts anymore. There was a time where I did do martial arts stunts. Because I studied 8 different styles, and then I learned how to do stunt work, trial and error, working with some very clumsy people that definitely had some brick hands that came at you.
Bro, I'd love to shoot a trailer with OG Silverback.
And see, I could work with OG like no problem. Like he'd be easy.
And basically, Jourdan, Matt Cook is Viking Samurai. Viking Samurai would be the whole Promethea thing, kind of from the comics. So I love that you read the comics, because when I kick that stuff from the comics, you kind of know Blue Emissary, if we can get Yosti, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like the sky's the limit as far as the lore. If you follow the comics, where to punch in and where to veer off. You know what I mean? So those type of ideas I love. We could get into. Go ahead, Laura. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just have some more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, let them have it.
Okay. As far as I'm reading on my notes. As far as Ninja's Oath, that location, that was beautiful. How it was in the woods and everything. The first thing I noticed how beautiful that was. So my first question is where was that location? And another thing I noticed was the costumes are so intricate. And so cost of costumes, what goes into, how much do you make them yourself, or if you buy the material, or what does that look like? And I was fascinated by the voice of Ninjor. I heard it. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds just like. And so I did my research, and Kim Strauss, who is the original voice of Ninjor in way back when, he's 78 years old now. Actually, he's still doing it. The last thing I heard was Marley and Me, the trailer for Marley and Me. He did that. He was the voice that did Marley and Me. The trailer. I didn't know that. But what I'm saying is, it sounds just like your Jeffrey Reyes and Ninjor. It's amazing. They sound identical. So tell me about Jeffrey, because he looks young. I looked up his he looked young. Wow, he's young. And so cost of costumes, what that looks like, where that location was, and how much CGI as opposed to how much actual physical fighting gets done. I know that's a lot. I'm sorry.
No, I'll try and go through it each one. Jeffrey Reyes just is a phenomenal voice actor. That's why he sounds so close to Ninjor. That's the entire reason. He's I think late 20s, early 30s. No, early 30s. Yeah. When it comes to the location for Ninja's Oath, I used to do back to the Cycle Minutes thing. I used to do a lot of location scouting. So that was at a reservation in Jersey. I just did a lot of hiking to find out that spot, because it's you gotta balance what you envision for the scenery, but then also logistically what works with the fight scene. Because even in that fight, again, we're fighting on a very narrow path for a part of it, which is where Ninja's being backed up by the Arbiter. So it was I was on a hill going they're going up and I'm going down at the same time. It was a struggle, but we managed to do it. And costumes range anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 plus, and I keep costs down. And basically, I make like 90% of the stuff that you see in the series.
Oh wow!
I keep it down because I was a cosplayer, so I keep costs down by making stuff myself. But if you're
cool.
Yeah, if you're commissioned, it'd be like 2K plus easy for some of those.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. How much the suits are gonna cost?
It's
Translate them from digital.
It's like this, depending on what you use and what you want them to
use, what the suit is. Like for the Unworthy suits, they're cheaper than like the Ninja suit would be if you were to commission it because of the foam armor and stuff like that.
Right.
Helmets themselves are $250 plus, depending on where you get them from. So just the helmet. So
that's cool. That's cool. And so, how much, and what do you use to film with? Is it a standard camera, or like what do you use to film with? And then, how much of that is them actually going at each other as opposed to like CGI? Is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Is it mostly them fighting, or is it CGI added as well?
There's definitely CGI parts added. We don't often use CGI models for our fights. It's usually just like VFX and camera trickery when it comes to like fast movement stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, we're most practical with it when it comes to our battles. And what's the other question? I'm sorry.
The camera. Like, what kind of cameras do you use?
It varies. Literally, I would say probably every episode is a different camera.
Really?
Yeah. First, I'll just use the last two. Ninja's Oath was actually all filmed by me on an iPhone. So there's that.
Wow.
What?
Really?
That's awesome.
Man, look at you.
Wow, good job. That looked amazing.
The iPhone, like I think it was the 14, whatever was the three camera, the three.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the raw setting on that, if it's with good light settings, and if you're filming outdoors with broad daylight, it works well. It's not to be underestimated.
Wow.
It holds up because people didn't even know that it was filmed on an iPhone.
I've seen people use rigs with their phone, almost like full rigs on one cell phone.
Oh yeah. Some people have whole iPhone camera setups. I didn't. I really just did handheld with the iPhone.
That's crazy, man.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, what do you think?
If it was indoors,
like the quality of Superpower Beatdown, right? Is that because of the cameras on a production side? I'm curious, like your stuff compared to a Bat in the Sun, right? Superhero Beatdown, is that the quality of the equipment used?
I'm not sure what they use in their beatdowns, or if it's the same camera for each beatdown. I know Netflix quality is usually red cameras. That's like the highest, but those are like insane to even rent. They're like that, like 10,000. It's fucking crazy. For Psycho Menace, we used the Black Magic Pro, and so the first time we used like cinema cameras, and I think the FX3 for part of the intro. But really what makes something like cinematic looking is like the lighting setup. So a lot of times in sets, the reason why their production take a long time too is because any of their shoots have insane lighting setups, like indoors, outdoors. And that's what we have for Psycho Menace, which is why I think it's probably our best looking episode.
Right.
Because we had literal lighting specialists. We had gaffers on set that were setting up lighting for each shot. Episode 4, we played with that lighting a little bit. So it's also one of our more cinematic looking episodes. But that's really the biggest difference. But if you're shooting outdoors, you really don't have to worry about that for the most part. The best thing I hope for when we shoot outdoors for stuff is a cloudy day, because then it's not overexposed and lighting is kind of even. So then the post with color grading, it's not like harsh lighting on anybody's like faces and stuff like that. There's also like when you get technical with filmmaking, it's like with cameras, there's like ND filters to help kind of smooth out that exposure and stuff like that. is
Right.
overexposed. But
I'm
yeah,
sure the editing software too helps a lot too, you know.
That was my next question. What?
sometimes if something is overexposed, you can kind of compensate for it. And that has happened. There's been shots that are messed up that you wouldn't really notice. But the goal is that when the audience is watching it, you don't notice all the mistakes. Because there's a lot of mistakes that you just don't see within those shots. They can either get cut out or cropped out or what have you, or edited out. Or I can't tell you how many times in second minutes there was like people, crew members, like in the corner of shots that you'd never know were there in the final product. But editing, we had to literally rotoscope them out of scenes. Otherwise, some guy's head like this popping out.
Yeah.
Like, who's that guy? He's a janitor? Like, why is he there?
He did that in Mando season 2, I think.
Yeah,
on Star Wars.
Like that.
On that level, you know what I mean? So it happens.
Remember Game of Thrones with the water bottle and the table?
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
Okay, give me straight. I got a big question. If I was gonna do, let's say, a 3-minute trailer for Ninjetti, right? Rise of the Ninjetti, or if I did a 12-minute episode, it seems like for a superhero beatdown level type, you know, or Unworthy type, like it seems like I'm gonna need at least $50,000 minimum to do a trailer, maybe $100K, because Aaron is doing Kickstarters for beatdowns, and I mean, I think they're up to about like $100K.
The fact that he is the biggest guy out there, like you say, we're big, he's the biggest.
He's asking for $100,000.
Money. Like that shows you how expensive good productions are, especially when you get to the level of like you could do without, but if you want to be that level, if you wanted to have that level of like quality to it, then you need people with expertise that unless they're your friends and doing you a favor, they require some kind of kickback for their time. It's just fair. Like why? Otherwise, they're not eating. You know what I mean? So it's like, of course, they would need something to compensate them.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot. It costs a lot of money. And it's a lot of time. A lot of time and energy. I've even seen Aaron talk about, like, he makes the joke of people being like, man, you've aged so much since you've been doing like Legend of the White Dragon. And it's like, I know what that feels like. It's like it takes a little bit of your, like, the term blood, sweat, and tears is so accurate. Because I feel like if it's really about your production, if it's really your dream, and it's really what you love doing, you're gonna pour all of yourself into it. And it's going to take a piece of you. I feel like every time I finish an Unworthy production, not only is it a little miracle that I was able to finish it, but it's like a piece of me is gone. You know what I mean? It's like that energy, life force was infused into that project, and now, but
makes sense.
Yeah, but that energy, you can feel the energy, like the transfer.
Oh yeah, and it's always there forever. You know what I mean? And I feel
like bottling. Put in a little bottle and put it on a shelf, but it's so that's why I think someone like Aaron probably has aged just from the stress and all the energy he's pouring into. Like I believe him when he says things like he's editing around the clock. I've been there. I know what that is. Yeah, you watch it again and again. You find little mistakes. You tweak. You change the speed ripping here. You change the edit here. You go, was that really the best shot to use there? Do I have other shots? Kind of. Like, and that's those are just re-edits, not even talking about the initial edit.
Well, I want to stay on the suits a little bit, because when I look at your suits, the Unworthy suits, they give me like a Power Rangers 2099 kind of feel, like a futuristic take. I like all the black. I like the lines on them, the silver. It's like they have like a futuristic. You guys look like an alternate universe team. That's what I like about it. Yeah. So, what was the inspiration behind that look of the suits? Is that what you were going for, like a futuristic Ranger kind of thing? Like, where did the mashup idea come from?
Yeah, not necessarily futuristic, but different. That was the goal. I wanted to do a sleeker look, like it, and I was very heavily inspired by Ultimate Marvel, of like the
right
tweaked, more modern designs of some of the suits. Not even just in concept of like just the alternate universe, but just like in terms of suit design. Yeah, it was also, and the design itself was a mashup of a couple of different artists that I cannot for life of me remember the names. But one guy did like, it was like two different designs. One was like a Zeo suit, and another one was a Mighty Morphin suit. And I kind of like blended them together to make the design of Unworthy.
Nice.
Yeah, I always try to incorporate things from the fandom. wherever I
Now,
can.
now, how fun is it for you to actually play a ranger? And is the Blue Ranger your favorite ranger? And why did you pick to play Billy?
Is he my favorite ranger? No, I mean I can't say that. Green Ranger Tommy is my favorite ranger. He's the one. Yeah. That's what I wanted to be as a kid. But
Exactly.
Billy is the character I related the most to. He's
Right.
a character that I like. He's a geek like me. We're nerds. We're all nerds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it came to playing a character, again, part of all the decisions are partly logistical. I didn't have a full roster of Rangers. It's like, okay, well, if there's got to be a nerdy Billy character, I'm available. So might as well be me, right?
Yeah. No, it worked. I was just curious. You know, it was fitting. I liked it.
And coming off of 2017, there was already a precedent of there being a black Billy. So I'm like, okay, that kind of works. Like, we can do it that way.
Yeah, you went with it.
Yep. I'm not really like if I could do it all again and I had an infinite budget, I actually would not cast myself. I would find somebody that fits the character better than me. You know what I mean? I'm not. I never really had aspirations to be an actor. I think acting is very hard. I think acting is probably it's the reason why they get paid so much is because the best visual effect is right here. This
it is.
You get a really emotional scene, you hold right here, a person will be more engrossed than spending $100 million on VFX. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, especially if you do it really well. And me, I have more of a love for the other side of like behind the camera stuff of like the writing, the storytelling. I'm the biggest thing I love about filmmaking is the storytelling aspect. Getting the emotion across to the audience by using the story and the characters and do stuff. So I would rather be behind the camera filming than me trying to act. You know, so try to do two of these things at once. It's like,
I feel you on that. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of camera work, but if it starts to become, like you said, like too much Hollywood like that, where it's just not for me, then. But I'm willing to try it, you know. But behind the scenes is where it's at for me. Directing, writing, cinematography, fight choreography, costume design, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't want to wrap things up too fast, but I have to be out in 15.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Actually, you guys want last questions?
Yeah, I got a few more. Unworthy, where did that come from? Because I mean, from everything I see, you're very worthy, and your team is very worthy, and everyone involved seemed very worthy of what they're doing, and so I did not get unworthy because it's like, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense because you're very worthy.
You know, there's an answer, but I'm also trying to think like, where did it really come from? Like, why did Unworthy pop in my head when I was thinking about the Terminator? Because I think it first appeared when I was writing the Terminator Rangers lines, talking, and the script for episode 1 was completely different at the time. What you saw in episode 1 of Unworthy on YouTube is not at all what the original script was. I could get into it, but it's a whole story unto itself. But the point is, his speech is, run, fight, it makes no difference. The Power Rangers are no more. You have been deemed unworthy. Like all this stuff like was very much flowing from the Arrow CW sensibilities of like when Arrow, whenever he'd show up, like, you have failed this city. It's like I wanted that for that kind of like
the dynamic.
A catchphrase, the thing that you identify immediately with the character. And then I guess when I landed on the word unworthy, you have been deemed unworthy. I was like, all right, well, that seems like you don't see that word unworthy that often, even though it's a pretty common word.
Right.
It just felt like Power Rangers unworthy. That sounds about right. But thematically, I feel like everybody kind of goes through that journey of feeling unworthy. Everybody wants to feel worthy. Everybody wants to. I'm a big Disney kid, so I like Hercules. Like I can go the distance. Like I feel like that's kind of the theme of all of Unworthy's characters to some extent, but also behind the scenes, the actors, the stunt people, the musicians, the artists. We're all kind of trying to climb that mountaintop. We're all trying to be worthy of something. We all, whatever that journey is on an individual level, we all kind of have that same spirit. So I think it's a universal feeling of feeling unworthy. What does it mean to become worthy? What does it mean to climb that mountaintop and deem yourself worthy? That's kind of the journey we're following in Unworthy from every character, from the Ranger to the 218 Rangers to the Darkest Timeline Andros, everybody.
That's really cool. That's
I
really, I like that.
You carved that, bro. You've carved your own little corner in the YouTube kind of spectrum. Like as a whole, I think you have a nice, it may not be a huge room, but you got your own room with the sign above the door. So people are looking, they're waiting, and you've got enough respect that when Unworthy drops, people are gonna go. And I think you should be championed. You should be supported way more than you are. You know what I mean? And I think you carry a lot of weight of that statement, future of Power Rangers. A lot of people in the fandom do look up to you and respect what you're doing, and we support you, bro. That's ultimately what this was about. You know, I know a lot of the guys in the court in Henryville, we like to joke around and play around and stuff like that, but I'm ready to get in the game. That's really where my heart is at with it from a design standpoint. I'd love to DM you and maybe start some conversations. We'll talk, maybe build a business relationship. I would love for coming on the show to maybe if there's some keywords or some things that you like for a theme, I'm going to try to do some AI stuff for you and send it to you. Maybe redesign your Unworthy suits, like that futuristic. I want to send you some stuff, see how you feel, some Ninjetti stuff. But I ultimately want to thank you, bro. Salute you for coming through and doing what you do, man. And I want to tell you never to stop. Don't quit, regardless of what happens with Power Rangers. I definitely see you as the type of guy being a cornerstone in the fan community, as someone to look up to creatively. No, regardless if you're doing Power Rangers or not, whatever IPs you stumble upon or go from here, we got your back, bro. You know, you're a stand-up guy. Thank you for coming through. However you need Lord Ninjetti, Rican Ranger, bro, I'm here to help. Bro, that's it. That's all I do is smoke weed and create, and I love Power Rangers.
Well, you're passionate, and all things flow from passion. So
yeah, and I'm very. Anyone who asks about me, no one's got more passion than Rican. So whatever I can do, bro, to help the fight and the fellow soldier, that's what we do at KoD over here. And I appreciate everything you do with Drew, and you know, just everything that's coming together, man. I can't wait. All you got to do is send up the bat signal whenever, man. The dragon call, and we'll come running. You know what I mean? So. Salute to you, bro, and your whole team, everybody involved. Keep it up. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, bro.
I'm gonna say next time you see your team, tell them that Lady Laura, says that they're awesome and they're doing a great job. Just give them my regards and tell them how wonderful they do. You know, and they deserve it.
Yeah. I definitely will. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that.
My question is too long because I was going to ask how Power Rangers changed your life, but that is too. You don't have enough time to go through that.
I think you're an abridged version of some questions.
Part 2.
You got that, but I wanted to knight you
officially.
Thank you.
Stand and rise, Jourdan. We knight you here. You were part of Knights of the Dragon, and I hope
Mighty Unworthy is now in
the name of St. George and St. Michael. I dub the Knight Jourdan, Knight of the Dragon. Stand and be recognized by all your peers.
He's an East Sider too, East Coast boy. I got your back, Jourdan.
And I hope we're part of the Unworthy family. You know, so we want to be. Yeah, we want to be involved with you guys and do whatever we can. I spent a lot of time at the hospital, unfortunately, but what I can do for you, you definitely have. If you need film knowledge, you know, I go back to the 40s, the 30s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and I do own just about all those films and physical media myself. So, and I do have all the books. You have a lot of the books. So we can go through. You like the original Star Wars trilogy?
Yeah.
We can go through. Like, I mean, I would show you books.
I'm down
stuff.
So
yeah.
Thank you for having me. And if you guys want me to come back, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, as soon as
you have an open invitation.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Come anytime you want.
Drew, you heard? As soon as that last Jetty drops, I want Jay to come through and just take us through everything, you know?
Yeah.
Process, what's going on.
We like you, Jourdan. You're
I like you guys too. Thank you.
You're very
Jordan's
nice.
my guy. We spent 4 hours just kicking it, man, and it was.
We had a good conversation though, bro. I appreciate it.
That's how he got me too, bro. And I never left since. You know what I'm saying? Our first conversation was 5 hours. I was freaking packing my stuff, leaving my girl's house, and I met Drew somehow, and there he was. He's always there for people, bro. You know, so I'm glad you came through, and I love that about you. So
I try, guys. I definitely try.
Check your Instagram messages from Unworthy Production, because I sent you a message just saying I was excited to meet you, Laura from KoD, and that your team and you awesome.
Okay, I'll go through later tonight and check it out.
Yeah. We're trying to get Francis. I think Francis is gonna come through. Later. So we're trying to get it. We've been trying to get her, you know, like it was like because she was trying to work it out for us today. So I was like, okay.
I love to talk to her. I've seen her on Henry's show, but I've never spoken to her directly. So that'd be cool.
You know what?
We love Francis.
Let me see.
We love Francis. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, her whole perspective of JDF, since she's like was his assistant and stuff.
That's our oracle over there.
Francis, are you free?
Queen Francis.
Oracle over there.
Let me see if I can get her for you. And she might magically pop up because if you have not, maybe she could say, hey.
Now, you met JDF, right, Jourdan?
Yeah, I met him a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about that real quick.
Yeah. Well, this I got from him. I keep it close to recording, but I met him at a Florida MegaCon in... When was that? 2016? I did it before 2016.
Oh, wow.
This is during his, like when he was still doing MMA. It's the hand wrapping and stuff like that. Before he hurt his back and stopped. And that was the first con I ever went to. So I met him there, and I mean, it was just jaw dropping because like this is Tommy. It's actually Tommy.
That's how I was. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then I saw him again. I think was it only one more time? Yeah, at 2018's Power Morphicon. Yeah, his line was just massive.
Awesome.
But I didn't speak to him directly at that con. But then he reached out while we were filming Unworthy stuff, and during the PPP era, like during 2020, I think.
Yeah, that's where I met him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just he gave us a shout out. There's some interview. I think he's actually on page where he talks about Unworthy. And like saying that he hit us up, sending me a link to those comments he was making from that video. And I was like, I'm a big fan. Like you guys are like you're killing it, and if you guys want
wants to say hi to you,
I was just like, what? Tommy himself hit us up for a cameo. And they were talking about it for a while, but then it ultimately didn't happen because of what happened. But
yeah, that's awesome. Hey, hopefully the Quantum Ranger thing comes together for you, bro. That'd be awesome.
Fingers crossed. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
You know, like I said, we're gonna be praying for you, rooting for you over here. Like I said, we in the Dragon we trust. We came together for JDF, you know. So that's why.
Oh yeah, did I show you?
Oh wow, is that like a tattoo of his signature?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Awesome.
Yep, and then I have this ribbon for him.
Yeah, die hard over here.
See when I come back.
Dude, take us out. Let's let him get back to his universe, man. His Unworthy universe.
All right,
JDF,
the mighty Unworthy shall return.
All right, guys. Hey, we've been Knights of the Dragon. We're happy to be here to have our special guest, Jourdan, who is part of the family, and he will be coming back as many times as he wants, enlightening us with new information, good ideas, giving his expertise on filmmaking, giving us great things to think about. And we're going to go further into Jourdan, and we're going to really show the world why Jourdan is worthy.
Very worthy.
That's what we want to do. So we got to do that because let me tell you, this guy right here is definitely worthy, and I want him to feel special. And he is really taking the Power Ranger franchise to amazing heights, as well as Bat in the Sun and whatever Rican and I are doing. There's just 3 of us realistically that are really out here, and to have a brotherhood, yeah, and form it and really kind of see what we can do. Maybe everybody, we might be able to go where JDF left off and reach maybe higher, because he always had that problem. And maybe we might find a way with all of our helmet heads together. We might be able to, there you go, find a way to get in there, and make that work and go, hey, listen, you missed your opportunity with him, but we carry the legacy. So how about us?
Yeah,
we can do a lot of things for you guys. And we all know, because I know Jordan's going to understand this reference, we know how to work on a budget if we have to. So what about that? Give us something and watch what we can do.
Maybe a first trailer with Unworthy. Who knows? Let me get this bread out and see.
So that's
you guys. Thank you again for having me. And
absolutely. All right, let me do the special intro. Let's get this right. All right, guys, here we are. We are Knights of the Dragon. We want to thank Jourdan for coming down. He is worthy. You know me, I'm Drew Danger, Lady Lore, Rican Ranger, and you know what's getting ready to happen. What's going to happen next time? I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. Could Unworthy Productions and Knights of the Dragon form together? We got to see what happens with that. Are we going to have matching shirts? I don't know, but we'll find out next time. What is Rican Ranger going to get into? His mind's blown with all the information that he got. He doesn't know what to do with himself, because I know him face. So he is just blown. Lady Laura came with the questions. She's blown and excited. My mind's been blown. It's just blown even more. But I wanted to make sure everybody else got their mind blown first. And Jourdan, the man that brings the knowledge to really, really get us thinking and giving us these amazing thoughts and ideas, and how you're taking your phone and taping and just really taking things to another height. This is awesome. So we're going to have Jourdan back. We are Knights of the Dragon. And remember, guys, same night time, same Danger Channel, same Lady Lore hangout, same Rican Ranger get together, and same Unworthy return. All right, guys. Till next time. We're out.
All right.